We are in the thick of the holiday season, surrounded by sugary treats at every turn. So today we are gonna make ourselves an alternative that is healthier. We're gonna make Mexican wedding cake cookies that don't have sugar and are gluten-free. So we can have a little treat. We can just nip that craving and go on with our life. I don't mind having a little splurge here and there. In fact, I enjoy it. If there's something I really love and I really want to eat it, I embrace it and I take my time and I savor it and I enjoy it. But I don't want to be doing that over and over and over again because sugar is addictive. And if January comes and I have to detox from sugar, like that's not cool. I don't want to do that. It just isn't worth it for me to get re-addicted to sugar. So we are gonna make absolutely delicious cookies. We will not feel deprived. If we want a little treat and everyone else is having those sugary things, we don't need to do that. So let's make these cookies. Okay, so welcome. Here we are in my kitchen. I've got everything already all measured out, and this is actually really easy. There's not a lot of ingredients. The first thing that we need to do is take 1 cup of pecans and put them in the oven just to toast them up a little bit. I put them in for about 3 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I checked them. They needed a little bit more, so I put them in for another minute. I checked them. They needed just a little bit more, so I put it for another minute. But you just really have to keep your eyes on nuts when you put them in the oven because they can go from okay to burnt really quickly. Once you have toasted them, then you just have to roughly chop them up. You can throw them in the food processor and just pulse it a few times, but to me it's not worth it. I can chop them up pretty quickly by hand, and I don't want it really finely chopped. I'll tell you, this is the first time I'm making these cookies. My friend Jene made them, and she brought them to our last holiday party and gave each of us some, and I couldn't believe how good they were. So I begged her for the recipe. I asked her, I didn't have to beg. She just said, of course. And I told her I was gonna do a video on it, and she said that was fine. But what she did was she took the regular cookies that she normally makes every Christmas, and she just converted them. So these are her original cookies. I have never made them before, and you just have to chop up the nuts. I like kind of a chunky nut, so I didn't make them super fine. I guess that's kind of a personal decision. I left some of them a little chunkier than others so that there's just a little something to bite into. So now that we have our pecans toasted and chopped, then we can start with mixing up the butter. You're gonna need an electric mixer, and then here is the butter that I use, the Kerrygold. It's grass-fed, it's a good quality butter. So I know we have been brainwashed that butter is bad for us, but really it isn't. If you have a clean diet and you use good quality grass-fed butter, then it's actually a healthy butter to put into your diet. So there's a cup of it in this recipe. So I'm just gonna put the cup of butter into the mixer and just get it nice and creamy. So you just have to mix the butter enough till it's kind of a little fluffy, and then I'm gonna add in a 1/2 cup of Swerve powdered sugar, so the powdered one. And I just add that in there and just mix that up just a little bit till it all comes together. And then 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Finish mixing that up. So as you can see, it's a really thick dough. So I'm just gonna take my pecans and I'm gonna stir it in by hand because that is just too thick of a dough to use the mixer. And I'm gonna grab a spoon that's a little stronger. So a good sturdy spoon like this will do a trick. Maybe even a wooden spoon would do the trick, but you just gotta just press it all together. You could probably even just knee it in if you wanted to use your hands. And then when all the nuts have been incorporated into the dough, we're gonna separate it into 2 equal parts, wrap it in some plastic wrap, and put it in the fridge for 30 minutes. And I'm just gonna dump it onto my cutting board. Boy, that dough smells really, really good. So I have it out here and I'm just gonna knead it a little bit just to really get it looking like a dough. And then I'm gonna cut it in two, wrap it up in some plastic wrap, and we can stick it in the fridge for about 30 minutes. That should do the trick. I don't know what it is that just smells so good. It must be the pecans. Those toasted pecans are making the whole dough smell so delicious. And it's not that big of a dough, so you could probably just put the whole thing in, but I'm just gonna cut it in half, make this into one, and this into another. Wrap it all up. Do you guys use this saran wrap? I was staying at my sister's one time and she had it and I was just like, I gotta go home and get that. That's the best invention ever. Just wrap it up and let's put them in the fridge for 30 minutes. Okay, so I lost patience and I took it out after 15 minutes, but I think that's gonna be good because it's gonna be easier to scoop it up. So I just have this little cookie scooper and I'm just gonna scoop it in like that. So easy peasy. So that made exactly 12 cookies. I still have another half in the fridge, so it'll end up being 24 cookies. So let's just stick that in the oven for 10 minutes. You just want them to be golden and probably just the bottom to be golden as well. So we will stick them in for 10 minutes, check, and then see where we need to go from there. So I put them in for 10 minutes and they aren't burnt, but they are quite well done. So like I told you, this is the first time I'm making them. I'm learning right along with you. So the second batch I'm gonna put in for 7 minutes and then check them after 7 minutes. And I'm gonna enjoy my cookie with a cup of hot chocolate. And how I make that is I use this. It's called Super Amazing Creamer. It improves mental clarity. It improves skin elasticity, reduces signs of aging. Reduces anxiety, improves mood, support bone formation, maintain health and improves digestion, promotes healthy skin and nail support, maintain healthy weight, strengthen hair, maintain youthful glow. I want all of those things. I have this probably at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. It's such a treat for me. There are 60 calories in it. I don't count calories, but in case you are wondering, I add hot water and then I take some raw cacao powder. I take a tablespoon of that because chocolate really is good for us. You just have to make sure that it's raw cacao and there's no sugar or anything that we don't want in there. And then to make it a little sweet, I take one of those squishy things, put it in there. This is a chocolate flavor. They come in different flavors. Vanilla, there's salted caramel. Those are a few that I use. And just a little bit as a little treat once in a while is kind of fun. Okay, so the timer just went off for my second batch of cookies, so let me check and see how they're doing after 7 minutes. So here they are after 7 minutes, and I can tell that some of them are still a little doughy on the inside, so I'm just gonna turn it around and put it back in for about another 2 minutes. Okay, so I stand corrected. It needs the full 10 minutes in there, maybe even a little bit more. So traditionally, the Mexican wedding cake cookie is covered in powdered sugar. And you can go ahead and do that and cover it in the powdered Swerve. I just feel like it's a lot of sweetener and it has a bitter taste when there's that much. So I like a plain cookie anyways, and I don't like it to be super sweet. So I am not putting the powdered sugar on it. You can maybe just sort of sprinkle some on top, or you can roll them in it and have them completely covered if you don't mind the taste of that much sweetener. So it's not a super sweet cookie. If you want something really sweet, this is probably not gonna be the cookie you want, but it's very nutty and has a slight sweetness to it, which is what I really love. So I am on my second cookie. This is research. I'm doing it for you ladies. This is a sacrifice for me. And I have my collagen hot chocolate. It's also yummy. So if you like this kind of cookie, you're in luck because it's gluten-free and it's sugar-free. Let me know if you give it a try. Let me know what you think. But until we meet again, I love you guys. Bye.